Well, a couple of weeks ago, I uploaded a video to the Boxing Voices YouTube channel, and I spoke about Andre Ward versus Sullivan Barrera. I gave my preview prediction and analysis of the fight, and I predicted that Andre Ward will win the fight by knockout. And in the most recent episode of Jim Lampley's The Fight Game, Bernard Hopkins also said that he believes Andre Ward will stop Sullivan Barrera. Now, since I've made this prediction, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people in the YouTube comments, very critical of this prediction. Now, most people believe that Andre Ward will win the fight, but they think it will be via decision. Well, I'm going to explain to everyone out there why I believe Andre Ward will knock out Sullivan Barrera this Saturday on HBO. Now, Andre Ward has been criticized so much for his style in the ring. People call him boring. People say he holds a lot. People say that he's overly defensive-minded. Well, in his last 6 fights, he has scored 2 stoppage victories. Knocked out Chad Dawson back in 2012, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Chad Dawson was weight drained, but Chad Dawson's still a top-level fighter. You know, he's a guy who was never stopped before at that point, and he was always known as a good, solid defensive fighter, and Andre Ward was able to break him down and stop him. Now, in his next fight against Edwin Rodriguez, Andre Ward was very aggressive in that fight. He threw everything but the kitchen sink at Edwin Rodriguez, and at some points in that fight, it even looked like the referee possibly could have stopped it, given the amount of headshots that Rodriguez was taking and the way his head was just flying all over the place in that fight. In a fight after that, against Paul Smith, Andre Ward went in there and really took it to him again in an aggressive manner, and he was able to wear Paul Smith down, and he stopped him in 9 rounds. Now, you could say, well, Paul Smith's not the greatest fighter in the world, but let's keep in mind that Paul Smith did fight Arthur Abraham, who many people would argue is a much bigger puncher than Andre Ward, and Arthur Abraham was not able to stop Paul Smith, whereas Andre Ward was. Now, Andre Ward, as I said, has been criticized, and even early in his career, he was criticized for not really being a tough fighter. He's criticized for having a poor chin, criticized for not being a physically imposing type guy in the ring, because he moved a lot. He boxed a lot early in his career. And if you guys noticed in the Super 6, he was anything but that. I mean, although he did still move and boxed well, he used a lot of physical strength, mauled guys on the inside and bullied guys on the inside. So he proved to a lot of people that he's not just a guy who likes to move around and box on the outside and fight cautiously. You know, he went in there, went into the kitchen, and he engaged guys on the inside, and he, went at them punch for punch, wrapped them up, physically manhandled a lot of these guys in the Super 6, and he looked like a bully in there, in my opinion. So he kind of proved a lot of people wrong in that regard. Now, in his last couple fights, I've also noticed a different Andre Ward as well, a more offensive-minded Andre Ward, a guy who's looking to be more aggressive, a guy who's looking to take it to his opponent, a guy who's actually trying to knock guys out now, whereas maybe early in his career, particularly in the Super 6, he was just trying to win the fights. Now I think he's trying to take his game to another level. And I think he's going to be going for the knockout a lot more now than he did previously in his career. And also, moving up to 175, I think Andre Ward will be a stronger fighter, and I think he'll be a harder puncher at this weight. I believe he will be able to carry power up to 175. Now, we all can agree that he's a better all-around fighter than Sullivan Barrera, more skilled, and definitely has a speed advantage here. So I think going into this fight, I think he'll try to make a statement. Because Andre Ward says he doesn't care what people think, and maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I can't get into his head and really speak to that. But his actions show that whenever he's criticized, he goes out there and tries to prove people wrong. And I think he's going to go out there and try to prove even more people wrong, because I think he sees what HBO's doing right now. They're showcasing guys like Terence Crawford, Gennady Golovkin, and Sergey Kovalev. These are guys who have a lot of knockouts recently and really fight in an aggressive manner and try to knock their opponents out. And HBO seems to be leaning towards these type of fighters because of their style. So I think Andre Ward, as skilled as he is, even though he can outbox a lot of people, I think he's going to take it to another level. He's going to be trying to make a statement from here on out. And I think in particularly against Sullivan Barrera, where he has a speed advantage, where he knows he can get off first, where he knows he'll be able to outland possibly Sullivan Barrera and outwork Sullivan Barrera and be one step ahead of Sullivan Barrera, I think he's going to try to make every punch count in this fight. And I think a lot of these punches that he's going to be throwing on Saturday night will have bad intentions on him. So this is the reason why I think Andre Ward will stop Sullivan Barrera. I think this is going to be a type of fight, as I said, where he's really going to look to take it to the next level in this fight. He wants to shut up his critics. He wants to prove to HBO that, hey, you know what? I belong on pay-per-view too. I can hang in there with guys like Sergey Kovalev. I'm a big, strong, light heavyweight, and I can make these guys feel my punches in this weight class. So that's why I believe Andre Ward will stop Sullivan Barrera. Until next time, talk to you guys soon. Peace.